Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to continue our conversation talking about some of the tag libraries that we're able to use within our gradebook application. So let's go ahead and get started. So we discussed briefly about all of the different standard tag libraries that we're able to use, things like the Portlet tag library, as well as the JSTL tag library. We're now going to discuss some of the Liferay tag libraries that you're able to leverage within your own application. So there's a pretty extensive list here. We're only going to cover some of them within our examples, but just keep in mind that there's quite a lot that we can use. So the ones that I want to highlight here are the Liferay Portlet. The Liferay Portlet acts as a wrapper around our standard Portlet 2.0 library. Adds some additional features and functionality there. Liferay UI is another one that we're going to be leveraging quite often to do things like send alerts or feedback back over to our end user, as well as create what we call the search container, which is going to act like a table. Another one that we want to highlight is Alloy UI. Alloy UI is one of our legacy tag libraries. We're going to use some of it in our examples, just for example, but again, this is a legacy tag library that's come from the past. The more up-to-date tag library is called Clay. Now, Clay is a set of tag libraries and a set of design principles that come from Liferay itself. So Clay is the more modern tag library that we have within Liferay. Now, again, Clay is sort of the next generation tag library that we at Liferay have created. This tag includes a lot of the typical things that you would expect in a user experience. Things like icons, banners, and so on. We at Liferay have created a specific set of standards that we at Liferay have established as our convention. What are the Liferay colors? What's the nav bar look like? What do buttons look like? And so on. So we have all of these things defined, and we implemented all of those definitions within Clay. So here in this slide deck, we're showing all the different elements or examples that can be created using Clay. So this is all built out for us. We don't need to do any development, just utilizing those tag libraries. So one example here down at the bottom is the success message that we want to render. Up at the top, we're declaring the tag library Clay, and then the specific tag we're going to be using to display a success message. So this is just one example of how we can utilize Clay to adhere to what we at Liferay deemed to be a Liferay look and feel. Now, we're not going to be using charts too much, but one thing that we do want to highlight is that you can create charts using this tag library for charts. So we have an example here showing the specific import as well as how to use at that tag library. So this is here on the JSP side, and then the Java side over here within looks like the render method of a Java standard portlet. All of that to render something like this. So if you do want to have charts within your applications, you can do so. So all of that to say, we've had a pretty lengthy discussion about tag libraries. So why would we want to use them in the first place? Tag libraries really are designed for us to reduce the number of boilerplate templates or reduce the amount of boilerplate code that we would be adding into our application. So a lot of what we would typically use is provided for us in tag libraries, making things much faster in the development world. Very common components are already built out for us, so we don't need to worry about developing them from scratch. It's responsive. So since mobile is really king these days, we don't, again, need to think about developing these specific components for mobile. A lot of them are already mobile friendly. Okay, so there's much more to talk about in the presentation layer, but this wraps it up for this video, and I will see you in the next video.